I don't get it.
Like instead of a fancy stats conference, we had a intangibles, because that's what you pay for Brandon Sutter.
Oh.
The intangibles.
No, I got it. It was more like, oh yeah, that's sort of clever as opposed to haha funny.
We get a lot of shots. Everybody come to their net. We just have to get more and more pucks to the net.
We used to talk about in Vancouver getting pucks on net and
pucks on net.
Well, that's the key. We got to get the puck on net.
What were you saying about putting pucks on net?
Continue to put pucks on net and
it's just getting pucks on net.
Pucks on net and driving and making it a hard night on them.
Live on tape from Geeta's apartment, her palatial estate on the 23rd floor. This is Pucks on Net. Go on.
Is this what tanking feels like?
Yes. This is Pucks on...
Self-sabotage.
This is Pucks on Net, a Vancouver hockey podcast. This doesn't talk about fantasy or fancy stats. And this is a podcast that has taken no fewer than 7 times to get off the ground this week. Usually we're a lot more efficient. It's gone bad.
It's like somebody's been on vacation or something.
We are a rather jet-setting podcast, but we'll talk about that in a bit. This is the tanking of podcasts. It was such a troublesome start. No cold open. They're just going to go right into lines.
No cold open?
Right into lines in the street.
We recorded so much stuff. You're not going to use any of that gold?
Defined gold.
Hey, this is PMAC, joined by Ryan and Geeta. We're trying to identify ourselves because we all sound the same.
We have an identity crisis or something?
People often tell me they hear me on the phone, they think it's Geeta. So, I'm PMAC.
I almost want to start the show over with that being the cold open.
It's too late.
Thanks.
I got to get down there. Got to get some meatloaf at the hockey arena tonight. Hurry it up, Brian.
Thanks for joining us wherever you got us from. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at PucksNetCA or PucksNetCa.
No sense of humor today at all.
All serious. This is like 1040 or some sort of news.
It's like we're gonna get shut out.
Business in the front, business in the back.
And make sure you, if you want to pledge to the show, you can do so on Patreon, patreon.com/pucksonnet. Got 2 new pledges this week. I'm going to say right off the top. Number 1, Darren, our longtime Australian listener, he packed $5. He also bought 3 Pucks on Net pucks, which are on a garbage barge on the way to Sydney Harbor in no time. And
Sydney Harbor, that's one of Crosby's cousins.
Yeah, Sydney.
Sorry.
And of course, the most important pledge backer that we've had on the podcast, my mother, Leslie Schapp. Still, that's her last name. She's backing $10 a month.
But if she had donated $15...
Yes, if you donate $15 now, there's a new reward system. You can go shopping with Geeta at H&M.
Does she buy anything?
Maybe. It's a case-by-case basis.
I might start donating $15.
Well, I mean, you can take your $225, $250 of my mom's money and put it towards the $15 just so you can go shopping with Geeta.
I don't know what you're talking about, my whatever percentage. I haven't received a dime for doing this show.
I could probably give you a dime, and that'd be the amount of money we've...
All right. I know you're losing money on the pucks. We've talked about this.
Well,
need to... I'm going to be putting my pucks up on eBay. I'm just letting you guys know bidding starts at $40.
Oh, God, that's so much profit. If you... the one thing I want to say right off the bat, I keep forgetting to do this every week. If you listen, you're a regular listener, I just want you to chime in on some sort of social media, email, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, with, I'm so-and-so and I'm listening from. I just want to get a good grasp of where our listenership is. So if you're listening and you want to help us out, tweet us, Facebook, email, I'm so-and-so. I'm PMAC from West Van.
And if you have any tips?
On what?
On anything, just let us know. Here's a tip. Let's get into it. Let's talk about hockey.
Okay. So remember how Alex Burrows was on the verge of getting bought out every year?
Yeah, I didn't think that was right, but yes, I remember that.
And how he was, if Dave was here, he'd be saying how he can't score goals anymore.
Doesn't he have like 6 goals in 3.5 games or something?
Yes, he's playing in that long-winded game in Norway that's in about the 46th overtime right now, and he's got 3 goals in that, so that half game's almost done. But he has 6 points in 6 games.
Yeah, that's, what happens when you utilize a forward with abilities.
Are we suggesting that somebody in this town is underutilizing some people with said abilities? Is
Yeah,
that
you.
Whoa.
I'm kidding.
The famous now. I didn't even think it was that big a blow up, but people thought I was getting mad at Dave or whatever.
The
a couple
brouhaha
shows back.
The brouhaha on the
Saying,
23rd floor?
Give Ryan, give
Alex
me
Burrows a chance.
Give Alex Burrows a little time on the power play. He's the type of guy that's shown to shine, and he's looking better after that foot injury a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Oh, you're just speculating. That doesn't mean anything. You can't assume that." After he was assuming all sorts of stuff.
Well, you know what?
Else. But yeah, no, I'm just saying, you give the guy an opportunity, and it's a better team to be
Right.
fair as well.
Mm-hmm.
That is an interesting team.
He's doing okay.
They have a lot. That is a surprisingly injured team too.
Top spot in their division, or are they still sitting atop? They
Nope.
passed Montreal at some point.
At time of recording on Monday afternoon, Montreal is leading the Atlantic, that weird sweat hog division where, 3 points could take you from the outhouse to the penthouse.
Okay.
But yeah, Alex Burrows. There was a lot of speculation about both sides of that trade.
Yeah.
The speculation of whether Alex Burrows can still score. Burrows is the plural. If he could still score goals as is. And what they traded for him in Jonathan Dahlin, who in his Swedish league had a hat trick this week, and he is on fire too.
Oh.
So everybody involved in that.
But if no one saw it happen, did it really?
A lot of Swedish people saw it. What are you saying about Swedish people?
Yeah, nobody saw the Sens game though. Nobody watches those games, and nobody goes to them because they're so far away.
Can you imagine the ratings if we have a Calgary Flames Ottawa Senators Stanley Cup final this year?
Well,
I mean, through the roof in Canada, but nowhere else.
nobody would watch that in Canada.
That's because you don't know where on a map to find these places.
Calgary, where the hell is that? That's up near Nunavut.
Well, again,
Ottawa, our
nobody-
nation's capital.
Nobody knows where the Senators are playing. It's not necessarily in Parliament Building.
Canada. They're playing in the Village.
I'm starting to get a little concerned about the Stanley Cup champions, the returning returning Stanley Cup champions, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Their entire team is hurt right now.
Oh.
Now
They looked good to me the other night, but
who were they playing? The Comets?
yeah, basically.
I-
Ryan Miller and the Comets. And then they had a show at the Commodore.
Sounds like
after.
a band, yeah.
You described a great scene after the Canucks game on Saturday night
in
with
the,
Ryan Miller.
The Canucks room. Oh yeah, so okay, I was standing outside the Pens room because I wanted to get into I wanted to talk to Sidney Crosby first of all
Why?
because he
That
skips
flash
out
in the
on me
pan.
all the time. No,
Yeah. Did you corner him?
He gets a big crowd,
Yeah.
so I wanted to make sure I was in the Pens room. So anyway, I got a couple guys in the Pens room.
Yeah.
Crosby snuck out to do after hours.
Okay.
So I ran over to the Canucks room to try and get Ryan Miller. He had just started.
Yeah.
While I was standing in the hallway, Noreen, Mrs. Miller, Noreen DeWolf, I think her last name. I'm not a big, I don't watch a lot of TV, I guess. And
anger
Bodie
management?
Miller walked by. Bodie Miller.
Not the skier.
Paul, we told you not to name drop.
We kind of think, he pointed at me, I put it at him. Hey, no. But when I went over to talk to Ryan Miller, he and his mom were sitting on the opposite side from Miller.
Okay.
And Miller's in like funeral mode. When you lose a hockey game, it's very disappointing. It's
Somber.
frustrating. It's being real serious. On the other side, Bodie Miller is flipping his dad's goalie pads over just sort of the side of the room and going, "There's Daddy! There's Daddy! There's Daddy!"
So it was a total BBC dad moment.
That's exactly what I compared it to on Twitter because I have to go back and listen to the tape. I think you can sort of hear. You can't tell what he's saying, but you hear
It's
there's like a high-pitched kid's voice in the background.
so unfortunate that we can't get anything.
There's Daddy!
It's really hard to go to the rink every day. And when
There's Daddy! Anyway, so that was the cute little moment with Bodie, and he'll be playing for the Canucks someday, and I'll be, I remember when you were 2 years old.
You want to know how? But Paul,
Yeah.
I was under the impression that you were you weren't able to get Sidney Crosby.
No.
But you were able to see him from a distance.
I waited for him while he was doing after hours.
Yeah.
And you could probably spot me milling about in the background trying to look inconspicuous, because the idea was me and Stu Walters were going to jump him and ask him like 2 or 3 questions.
And rough him up.
How dare you beat the Canucks?
We're here on behalf of Brandon Manning.
Oh, jeez.
But I want to say before
Anyway,
if you see Paul on After Hours, he was looking great because he was wearing glasses from Image Optometry. And I would just because we're this deep into the show, before we continue, with the way Paul was looking, it's just when you need a pair of glasses with all the options out there. Why is it that so many people, including local sports pros, trust their eyes to Image Optometry? Did anybody know why? It might have to do with their online prices with brick and mortar service.
Oh, and the direct billing.
Yeah, direct billing is fantastic. Or it could be that they're the only ones to offer a doctor's eye exam and a complete select pair of glasses for just $89.95.
It could be all that stuff. It could just be the fact that Alex Burrows and PMAC on the street wear glasses from there, and everyone just wants to be like us.
Hey, I've seen Alex Burrows scoring goals on Hockey Night in Canada. I see PMAC milling about with handsome Stu Walters on
And
Hockey
Alex
Night in Canada.
Burrows and PMAC can see you now that they wear their new glasses.
There you go.
An unbeatable deal that'll ensure you catch your next match in glorious HD. Next match or next episode of After Hours, where you can see Paul milling about, contemplating how he's going to corner Sid the Kid.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen the fact that he'd sneak out through the Canucks room in Kevin BX's secret tunnels.
Yeah, we were just watching before you got here. They were talking to Torts about that. I'm like, that's the secret tunnel. That's the tunnel right there that they snuck Sid through. I mean, what else could you expect from the most affordable eye care chain in BC? ? Image Optometry, the official eye doctors of the Canucks, and PMAC on the street and Pucks on Net. Online at image.ca or image.ca. Imagine more for less.
Imagine more for less.
That was exhausting.
That's sounds like the phrase of the Canucks this
I was
year.
going to say, yeah, their new slogan, more for less.
That's based on who they're signing.
Didn't work out for them so much, but hey, Image Optometry totally works.
So do you know who this kid is they signed out of the Swiss League, Paul?
Yeah, he's played for Calgary for a while.
So should they have signed this guy or maybe brought up Jake Virtanen?
I mean, the concept now is that they just want Jake to be one of the few sources of stability, I think.
That's a
and
tall
he's supposed to
order.
lead them into the playoffs, which is also kind of setting it up for failure because I don't think the Comets are... I haven't watched much Comets hockey this year.
You haven't?
But I don't think they're expected to
They
do anything
play at
amazing.
Rogers Arena.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got the Alaska Aces playing out of Utica, so they're going to have trouble in the AHL playoffs with an ECHL roster. But
But
I mean,
you and I are going to it at the Comets game tonight.
No. We actually got called up. We're playing for the Alaska Aces tonight.
I thought it was is that the best kid available? Like, why are they signing a kid out of the Swiss League?
Well, no, it's a guy who, was a reasonable fourth liner for Florida and Calgary.
Up till last year.
And got a shot at some decent money. You can make decent money in the Swiss League if you put up points. He's a point-a-game guy.
Okay.
I think he led them in points, his team. And somebody obviously scouted him out or had seen him before in his NHL, and he's a big body.
Oh.
And right now they're just looking for any bodies to fill roster spots. Boom
Okay.
Boom Biega's been playing forward, and Boom Boom Biega is supposed to be where he's most effective
Next
in
to
the
you.
press box.
Right.
I actually like Biega, so I mean, that's more of a team thing. They just they don't want him in the lineup for whatever reason. They've got too many bottom pairing defensemen.
Yeah.
Someone's got to sit in the box.
Okay.
But yeah, he's just a body to fill a place. I think at this point, with the expectation if he's here next year, he's going to be in Utica or maybe fighting Cramarosa And if one of them gets lost on waivers, hey, you've signed this many.
Like
Yeah.
fighting, like fist fighting?
They
Sorry,
will probably
you
fight in
guys-
camp because they're both badass players.
What's his name? You haven't said anything.
Oh,
Oh,
have we not mentioned him by name?
goes by the name of...
Is this Drew?
Shore.
Are we talking about Drew Shore?
Eddie Shore.
Eddie Shore.
Oh, sorry, Drew Shore. Yes.
Thanks, guys.
It's such a big news article in this town that some scrub out of the Swiss leagues gets signed because everybody on the Canucks is injured and has the mumps or the flu or food poisoning. Mm-hmm. Because I was going to ask you, because the latest thing was that Goldobin, the kid that they traded Yannick Hansen for,
Right.
left in a SARS mask, a surgical mask, and you're around the rink. Like,
I didn't see him, but I know other people did see him.
Are you nervous about getting some sort of
Totally.
illness? Like,
And then I went to work my other job today, and everyone's coughing all over the place. Like, I'm normally the sick one, so
Yeah.
I will be sick eventually.
oh.
Knock on wood.
I'll probably get mumps and the flu, and I'll break a foot or something.
And
you know,
food poisoning.
and food poisoning all in one night.
Like, are these illnesses, like, they're kind of coming up with ailments that aren't necessary? They don't really need a doctor to describe it. Like, could they be making these up because the team is so hurt, or they just don't?
Why
They want
would you make up food poisoning?
Well, I mean, like, what? Like, that is the go. Like, if you're trying to skip out of work, food poisoning is the best. I was up all night sick with food poisoning. Oh, he's probably faking it. Well, you know, it's like it's the best one
So
to lie about.
you're saying Chris Tanev is just sick of playing for the team right now?
Well, your words, not mine. But like,
I don't think.
well,
I mean, here's the thing. I don't think they'd be faking anything like this, but I think they're much more willing to let guys, and guys are more willing to sit out because of their current situation. Whereas if you're pushing for the playoffs right now, or a position
which
in
the
the
Canucks
playoffs,
are.
You'll play the game and take a bathroom break.
yeah. But if you're where you're sitting right now as the Vancouver Canucks, why should Chris Tanev? And there's a lot of guys. Brandon Sutter, by all accounts, is playing hurt, and I don't get why you would continue to play him if he's playing with a busted hand. It doesn't matter right now. Let the kids play. But Willie will not let that man sit out a game. He cannot play another night without Sutter.
Does he play favorites?
Yes.
No, you know, you got to earn your time on the ice, unless your name is Cramarosa or Drew Shore coming into the lineup right away. Off the plane this morning, into the lineup tonight.
We need this guy on the bench. I don't know. You know, that's funny. It's like it's with when Reed Boucher got clean. Like there is an amazing playoff hunt in the East and the West, and it is and just like our negative reviews say, we're talking Canucks heavy, which we'll stay for a second, but we're talking like
We say we're a Vancouver-based hockey podcast. Comes with the territory.
you have Reed Boucher that's picked up off of waivers, playing in the NHL and in the AHL.
Yeah.
And Willie won't play him because, I haven't really gotten a good look at him. He hasn't played in practices. But then you have some random jabroni from the Swiss League. The second he gets off a plane, it's like, can you get dressed on the Canada line to the rink?
Well, hey, Sven Berchi and Marcus Granlund vouched for him because they all played in Abbotsford together.
Oh, really?
There you go.
I could vouch for those
think.
guys too.
Maybe it wasn't Abbotsford. Actually, I don't think he played in Abbotsford. It would have been, Stockton, I think, where the team moved?
Sure.
Stockton Heat.
Well,
Yeah.
he was drafted by Florida in 2009, so probably Stockton, yeah.
Stockton Heat. Yeah, no, it was in the Flames organization, I believe. I think. I heard about this while I was at work today, so anything I know about Drew Shore that I didn't know before today was like bits and pieces I picked up off Twitter.
Are you saying you're
Google.
not sure about this
Not
information?
sure about it. Sorry about that, Ryan. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure about much of this Canucks team. Another thing about the Canucks is Alex Burrows and Hansen in press conferences with or talking to the media. It's like they love how they're part of teams and dressing rooms that are so in sync and that without saying that are following the coach's orders.
Yeah.
And that they respect and love that clear path of direction.
Do you have a clip? I haven't been paying that much attention.
Hansen and Burrows both said something along the lines of that. I could bring it up, but it's...
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I believe you.
But they are liking something with a clear direction. And And like Hansen, like debuted on the top line, like the best. They're playing where.
But that's the thing, right? They're on teams that are headed to the playoffs. That's the difference between where they just left.
And that teams that aren't headed to the playoffs, like the Canucks, have Cramarosa and Magna and Chaput as your first power play unit. It's kind of disheartening a little. Disheartening to have to go to the game tonight.
I'm sorry you have to go through that trial, Ryan.
Oh, jeez. I'm gonna need a. It's gonna be like a training camp roster. It's going to be like when you describe that Ben Hutton kid that's going to be good.
Well, the Penguins were in town the other night, and all their numbers, there's like 81, 71, 87, 58, 59, all camp numbers.
So they're dressing kids that are coming up from camp.
65. Look kind of like 66 if you squinted, and people were just freaking out that a guy would wear 66 in Penguins yellow. And Ron Hainsey's just like, who's Mario? Super Mario?
That's a video game. I live in real life. I'm Ron Hainsey.
I live in real life. I live in Carolina.
But on the subject of the Penguins, Brian Rust, Oli Mata, Trevor Daley, Chris Letang, Hornquist, Matt Cullen, and Carl Hagelin, they're all hurt. A lot, like they are beat up to shit. And they still looked like the 76 Montreal Canadiens against the Comets on Saturday night. But I am a little concerned because there's a good chance that the Torts-led Columbus Blue Jackets, who are just tying the game up here against the lowly Philadelphia Flyers, that they could face each other in the first round.
Well, that'll be fun.
Well, it is fun because, Brandon Dubinsky hates Sidney Crosby, and the two teams hate each other, but
the coaches are best buds.
Isn't Sullivan the disciple of Torts?
Yeah, Sullivan and Gulutzan were the assistants in Vancouver, and those are like the three hottest coaches in the league right now. And they were all running the Canucks just a couple of years ago.
And then you got Alex Burrows going to the nation's capital, lighting it up. Yannick Hansen doing stuff down there.
Did he grow a giant beard?
It came in, yeah. When you get to the Bay Area, when you land,
there's a lot of hormones in the water down there. Just testosterone dumped in buckets.
That's just Brent Burns. When you're around him, it just kind of seeps in through the skin. That's what Barry Bonds used.
So
he rubbed it in on the skin.
What you're saying is that failure is just somehow ingrained in the city? Is that what like that guy from Pittsburgh is right? This is just a
Not
hellscape.
Failure, just like complacency.
Hellscape of fighting and complacency. That's what that writer from Pittsburgh was saying, right?
Well, Paul, you and I were walking through the streets of Vancouver Saturday night. Paul's walking. Next thing you know, garbage can on fire. Thrown our way, knocks him clear out.
That did not happen. No, rugby sevens are in town. So I'm passing like giant overweight men in tutus. Some Ghostbusters walked by for me. There was a girl dressed as a banana.
Yeah. That sounds pretty typical.
She could have just been happy to see me, but sorry. Anyway, but I'm loving the Rugby Sevens crowd because it's like they've mashed the Super Bowl and Pride together in some sort of beautiful amalgamation.
The Pride Bowl?
There you go. It's anyway, but they're right next door to the arena. So I'm guessing that this poor Pittsburgh writer who hates our glorious city stepped outside at the wrong time when two guys who had been watching Rugby Sevens all day decided that they didn't like each other because one was a fan of the Aussies and one was a fan of the Kiwis.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's how that happens to the best of us. We've been in those kind of fights all the time in Vancouver.
Yep.
I'm worried that the Pittsburgh Penguins will lose to the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round. And then if that happens, what it opens the door for is some sort of weird Ottawa Senators Stanley Cup final appearance.
Well, it could be, what was I saying, Minnesota Columbus? That's the Bettman Bowl.
Oh, when you start looking at who teams, where teams will be situated, who they will play against, it is a cluster muck of just uncertainty. Like, Ottawa would play.
But you say this like it's a bad thing.
No, it's a great thing.
That makes the playoffs amazing. That anyone really going in, I could see making the final this year. Like, I know there are definitely teams that are better than others,
right?
But I don't feel like there's one. And then you talk about Pittsburgh, and they've had injury problems, or But
they're so banged up, and these injuries are like 2 to 3 weeks. Like these are key players that could be
Right.
missing the first couple games of the opening round of the playoffs.
And you got teams like Calgary that are on fire if they could remain
Literally.
that way. Literally, they're like
For-
their team name.
If you could listen to us for a second, we are not talking about their namesake
Yeah.
or their logos.
Okay.
They are on fire, literally,
Somebody should put them out.
Literally?
figuratively,
They're
and
not
literally on
they're
fire.
not literally on fire.
No.
Johnny Gaudreau, 3rd-degree burns.
Covered in sterno.
But that's another team. We're potentially gearing up for a Battle of Alberta first round appearance that hasn't been memorable or significant for 30 goddamn years since the last time the Flames were relevant.
Sure.
It's very exciting,
Yeah.
and I don't know. There's just it's very intriguing right now.
I'm actually excited for the playoffs. I don't know. I guess I usually am,
Well,
but
the playoffs are always
I can't
exciting
wait.
when the Canucks aren't in it.
Well, yeah, because I mean, when they're in it, you got those every other day. We're like, oh god,
you gotta go to work.
You got to put your life on hold because you have to sit down.
your heart is in knots, and you're like, oh god, every other team in the playoffs looks so much more. You'll watch the remember when the Canucks were playing the Flames, and you'd watch Pittsburgh play the Islanders in this bloodthirsty, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, roller derby of violence and speed, and it was great. And then you watch the Canucks kind of hold on against some kid named Michael Ferkland. It is kind of nice when the Canucks aren't in the playoffs.
Hold on and lose.
In the fifth overtime, you're like, oh, did I just waste all that time? And I got to get up for work in 2 hours.
that is why we are so complacent in this town. Paul, do you get a team you're excited about for a playoff run?
Oh, I want to watch a bit of everything. You want to watch the San Jose's and Ottawas with their former Canucks as a Vancouverite and people you've watched for a while. But Columbus, honestly, I'm curious. I don't mind John Tortorella. I don't think he should have. I'm fine with him being fired from Vancouver. I don't think that was going well. But I was a Lightning. I liked watching the Lightning back in the day when they won the Stanley Cup. I think he's an interesting personality to watch. And I really like a lot of the young guys on Columbus. I've always been a huge Seth Jones fan. You guys are a fan. You can't get me to shut up about him sometimes. Such a nice young man. So well-spoken.
Hey, listen, I've been a fan of his since the Winterhawks.
Me too.
I had a
Zach
bubble.
Werenski's been fantastic. Basically, their whole blue line. Ryan Murray, local boy.
Ryan Murray's hurt.
He is local, isn't he?
Oh.
Yeah, he's local. I'm really wanting to see the Maple Leafs make the playoffs because they are a team that if they score 7 goals, they're going to win. But I think they've blown about 106 2-goal leads going into the third period. So really good to see those young, handsome boys in the first round in serious hockey against a team like they would play Ottawa or Montreal or Washington.
They'll play a team.
Yeah, one of those.
They'll play. I'm just thinking of the leaders because they're in the wild card. It's quite intriguing.
I'm excited about the Rangers because their window is closing again.
There's a lot of windows that are closing. The Montreal Canadiens window,
San Jose,
the San Jose window, the Chicago Blackhawks window.
All these windows have been closing for a long time. It's like the shutter is stuck or something.
They painted over it. The jam is stuck.
Because all these teams have been good for a while.
Yeah. As a Canucks fan, there is something to be excited about, and his name is Thatcher, and his last name...
I'm not singing it.
You don't need to sing it. That's more of an April thing, as we did last year. Thatcher Demko is on fire. His last 7 games, he's 7-0, a goals against of 1, a save percentage of .965, and he has 2 shutouts.
Sounds like he's streaking across the sky like a comet.
I thought you meant like naked through like a quad.
Yeah, I was thinking naked through a quad.
Well, we could tell where you guys leave your minds.
In the gutter.
In the filthy naked gutter of Utica.
No, sorry, we're going streaking. through the quad and into the gymnasium. Come on, everybody! Come on, Snoop! Snoop a loop! Snoop! Hey, no, it's cool. It's cool. I'm cool. Bring your green hat. Let's go. Come on, everybody, we're going.
Anyway,
I got a question for you.
shooting. He's shooting like a shooting
Like a Dallas
star
star?
that's a comet that's coming to the atmosphere.
Your close personal friend Ryan Miller. I think it was Ian McIntyre wrote an article that it's unlikely that he's going to return to Vancouver this year.
Really?
Next year.
Why wouldn't he want to come back to this?
Bodie's fed up with this town.
Bodie, this town's a dud. Bodie wants out. But with Thatcher Demko surging and there being no confidence in Jacob Markstrom, where would you put Thatcher Demko next
What do you mean
year?
no confidence in Jacob
Oh,
Markstrom?
you mean in net?
Yes. Where is he?
There.
Where?
You don't think people would have confidence in Jacob Markstrom?
No,
Why not?
because they don't right now.
Says who? He's hurt.
It's Vancouver.
Is he still hurt?
Yeah.
Well, that shows what I know.
Bachman's on the bench.
So what's going to happen next year? What would you do?
Well, that dynamic.
I think
duo
it'll be
could-
Markstrom, and they'll either sign somebody or it could even be Bachman. I think they'll leave Demko if they can. They want to keep him away from this team. Goaltenders especially could be ruined. I'm just being honest. I'm not making a joke.
Do you think
funny.
You don't want to put a young goalie behind a team like this because then you wind up with like Devin Dubnyk,
Yeah.
and he needs a change of scenery to be successful because he ain't going to be successful here. And then you really are stuck with like 40-year-old Randy Bachman and net. No, sorry.
Well, they did the same thing happened to Jacob Markstrom
Yeah.
in Florida.
Dick Bachman is actually only like 29 or something. So I mean, like,
Really?
I could see him and Markstrom in the Nets if they don't really care because Bachman hasn't been bad. And if you give Markstrom 1 year as a starter, Bachman can play 15, 20 games for you.
He can only play that. Like they're really giving Markstrom the ball if it's like, all right, kid.
Is he a kid still?
He's youthful.
26, 27.
Oh.
He's impressionable. He is like a youth, you know.
Anyway, Bachman hasn't lost a game in the NHL. He's undefeated in over 2 years in the NHL. How many goalies can say that?
I'm sure Carey Price probably has done that.
No.
So Richard Bachman gets what, like a start a year?
The last 2 years.
So that next year, that's one start for Bachman. That's 81 for Jacob Markstrom. He's gonna beat that Grant
I know.
Fuhr
He
record.
People
wanted
might
to
like
be
it-
number one.
People might not think I'm being serious, but yeah, like that way you're giving Demko full control of the net next year in Utica.
Yeah.
You're giving Markstrom full control up here.
Yeah.
Bachman is a serviceable, or they sign another guy and leave Bachman to back up Demko down there. Like
81 games. Is Mike Keenan coaching here next year?
Who is going to be coaching here next year? Is it going to be Travis Green?
I could see that. I think they got to go with somebody with some experience, though. Like, I don't know. After Willie,
Yeah.
got to go with old and boring, I think. So,
But they just went with old and boring.
yeah, but like experienced old, not just old.
I've been here for a while. I think it's my time.
I don't mind. I don't mind Willie. I think he should be an assistant coach at this level, not a head coach. It's kind of like I thought Gillis was really good as a like
Player agent.
assistant general manager because he thought outside
Assistant
the box.
to the general manager.
Shut up.
There's a big A on his suit.
Anyway, if Mike Gillis had been the
He's a
alternative general manager to somebody who knew what they were doing experience-wise a little bit more,
Yeah.
he could have been like, okay, sleep monitoring and you know all
Right.
these outside-the-box ideas that I
Yeah.
thought were really good, but you don't want like your head honcho worrying about outside-the-box things. He should be worried about the on-ice, and arguments can be made either way, but I thought, yeah, Gillis should have been learning side-by-side with you know, your Jim Rutherford type of character.
Yeah.
The most experienced general manager in the league.
Well, he's
been
Lou
Lamoriello.
I mean, he's been in the league for what, 100 years now, give or take.
You can't have Lou Lamoriello in your room though, because he's measuring haircuts and sideburns. You can have a mustache but no beard type of situation.
I know what's gonna happen. It's kind of heartbreaking that all the weird cult-like things that Lamoriello had instilled in New Jersey aren't necessarily seeping into the Toronto Maple Leafs dressing room that we know.
Have they not? I haven't been paying that much attention.
Is
like,
Shanahan
are they
a
clean
good balance for that? Is that why?
I think he balances Lou's crazy where it's like, these boys need an all. We're watching Torts get a little animated here during this Blue Jackets Flyers game.
Angry Fonzie, anyway.
Yeah, you don't see. I imagine Lou Lamoriello comes in like, there's no practices on full moons this month, and Shanahan's like, all right, let's just take it easy. All oatmeal Sundays or something like that.
Ew.
All oatmeal. That's why
On Sundays, not like eating ice cream Sundays.
that's
I knew what you were thinking.
That's how Claude Lemieux got that Conn Smythe with all that goddamn oatmeal on full moons. But yeah, Shanahan he's like a funnel and a sifter. He's like, all right, these are good bits. Let's worry about something else.
All right.
What else is there? We're on Bob McKenzie's podcast. He always talks about it being mail it in March because everything to talk about now after the trade deadline is just games, who's winning, and standings.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a quiet time right now. Would you guys agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
As we have a quiet segment, which at that moment, I'm going to take this time to talk about the puck selling because it's been a little bit. Got a big pile here right now.
Oh, I was going to ask you how Montreal's been doing since they acquired a Ben. Have they been going down?
They have been going up, surprisingly. Carey Price, he had a great quote, which I really like. He goes, when Carey Price was asked if he had a prior friendship with fellow BC native Geordie Ben, not at all. He's from Vancouver Island. He's weird. And as people from Metro Vancouver, there is some accuracy to that statement. They're a different breed on that island.
I like the island.
Oh, I love the island.
Yeah.
There's some weirdos over there.
There's weirdos here.
There's a lot of weirdos everywhere.
Yeah.
Speaking if you want one of us. Speaking of weirdos, I got some time off this month, and I'm selling some pucks. These pucks on net pucks, and if you want one for the low price of $10 Canadian,
Meet him in a back alley.
Yes, I will have a trench coat with them just hanging out, and stereo equipment. If you need pucks on net pucks or stereo equipment, I am taking it upon myself because I'm on vacation for most of March. If you want a puck and you live from Tawasin to Chilliwack-ish.
Whoa.
How far north are you going, though? That's pretty far south.
Lions Bay or Horseshoe Bay?
Sure.
Okay.
Not Squamish. That's too far. I better be getting lunch if I'm driving to Squamish to get $10 for a puck.
I believe it's called Squampton.
He should be buying one, let me tell you. If you want to buy a puck, live in Metro Vancouver or in the Valley, email us $10 and I will drop them off. Hand deliver. I got my mom's car. It'll be great. It's her gas. It's her Trio toll account. And we'll be happy to drive them out to you. If you live in Vancouver, maybe I could walk and drop it off in a mailbox. $10 a puck. Pucks on net at shaw.ca. Would you buy a puck for $10 with that door-to-door delivery, Geeta?
Why, yes, I would absolutely buy a puck for $10. These are some really good-looking pucks.
Yeah, I brought a stack of Geetas, or a stack for Geeta. I wrap them in brown paper, and they kind of look like bricks of hash.
I thought they looked like ice cream sandwiches.
Yes. Speaking of other things, I have a giant bag of coffee for you from Hawaii.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And look what happens when it goes into a pressurized cabin. It gets all squished together.
Well, it's because of the different
air pressure.
Yeah, air pressure here versus where you were when
when
they packaged it. It's like water bottles sometimes. You notice they're a little squished because they were packaged at a different air pressure than where you are currently living. There's your science lesson for the day, kids. Paul P-Mac, the science guy. Doesn't rhyme, but
it works well.
Yeah.
I had a come to Jesus moment I wanted to talk about when I went to Hawaii last week.
Okay.
The listeners might know about that.
Is it Jesus or Mick Jesus?
Like McDavid?
Yeah, come to McJesus moment.
I didn't watch any Connor McDavid when I was there,
all right,
but I have accepted the fact that he is a fantastic hockey
player. Lord
and
Savior of the greater Edmonton area.
Oh yeah, and most of Leduc County. I got a rental car when I was there.
Okay.
And so I was waiting in line at Thrifty, and I was thinking, and it's all sweaty because it's like 30 degrees. I'm like, oh man, I had a mid-level SUV, and I'm like,
sure.
By golly, I sure hope they upgrade me. I really hope I get upgraded to like a Dodge Challenger or some sort of Mustang convertible. That'd be cool. I'd look so cool in a convertible driving around Hawaii. And then literally in front of me were these guys, probably my dad's age, polos tucked into jeans, thinning hair, talking about how excited they were that they had rented a Mustang convertible, and that was the only way to do Hawaii. Aww. And they were so excited about this. And I looked at him like, oh, Jesus Christ, it's the most uncool thing I've ever seen. They hop in the back and they're just all smug and happy. And so the guy helps me at the till, and he's like, oh, yeah, you had a mid-level SUV. I'm like, yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, what's mid-level?
Like a Nissan something, like not too fancy.
Oh, I see what you mean.
He's like, well, we're all at SUVs, so I'll just, I'll upgrade you. I'm like, to what? He goes, to a Maxima. I'm like, is that a convertible? He's like, no. And I'm like, oh, thank God. And so then as I would go around Hawaii, like around like Honolulu and stuff, I'd see all these old dads driving around in these white Mustang convertibles thinking they're the coolest guys in the world. And all I could think of was that guy. This is how you got to do Hawaii.
Because they go back home to the Midwest and they're like in their Toyota Corollas.
In the snow.
So that was my come to Jesus moment. You can never look cool in a rental car in Hawaii.
I'm not sure that's a come to Jesus moment.
Well,
but sure.
I wasn't raised in a religious household, so I don't know. I don't know what your come to Jesus moments are.
I think you're using that term wrong.
Okay. Yeah. A realization.
Yeah.
Perhaps. We'll use that term.
Sure.
A revelation, you could say, perhaps.
There's a religious crossover. Observation.
That works.
Yeah.
The Calgary Flames are red hot at the moment. Literally on fire.
Didn't we already have this segment?
A little bit, but it was because they had a turnaround. And I really quite liked this. And this is from Elliot Friedman's 30 Thoughts.
Sure.
And I'm just going to read it out loud because there's a little bit here. Gulutzan was asked if his harsh words after a 5-1 loss in Montreal on January 24th were a turning point. And he goes, honestly, those words, 0. If we fast forward to another to after that game, we took the train from Montreal to Ottawa on the day off in between. The players are in the front car, and usually there is some beer, a change-up. We took it.
Some beer is not a change-up, Ryan.
We'll talk about that in a bit. We took it off the car, and everybody was mad. Took the beer off the car. I walked up to the players' car during that trip, and saw everybody that had their headphones on, just staring forward, watching their movies or whatever. So they were pouting because he took away their beer. I talked to a couple of our veterans and said, do you guys need a beer here or what? And they were like, yup. So I went and got that beer tub and set it down and said, take your headphones off, sit down, have a couple beers, and let's figure this thing out. Got them a little bit more lively. The next day was a day off following a game. Following day was the game against Ottawa. We went around the room, and not a rip session, but an honesty session of what we needed from each player and what the expectations were. To sit down and have a heart-to-heart with the guys was probably the biggest thing. And I just found that very heartwarming, that something as simple as having a couple beers and interacting and having that camaraderie and talking about what was wrong is the key to turning things around in Calgary. And I just thought that was magnificent.
Okay.
Paul?
Sorry, I'm just appreciating the packaging on this bag of coffee you handed me.
Gully. Player coach.
Gully.
Beer was the
answer. You leave
answer.
Vancouver and that loser stink just floats right off. Just wafts over the Rockies westward.
Did you see I don't know if you saw they had a graph on, or a graphic on, I think, Thursday's game on Sportsnet, and it showed the last 3 Canuck associated coaches of
it was the Tortorella staff.
Yeah. Oh, no. Well, if you look at the coach, the Tortorella staff was Sullivan, Stanley Cup champion, Tortorella, second in the Metropolitan, Glen Gulutzan 9-game winning streak, and then if you go back even further, Alain Vigneault, arguably one of the best coaches in the NHL right now. So yes, the stink once you fly over the Rockies, it's gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when Willie goes back to Medicine Hat, things will be fine.
He is going to be the most dominant, well-respected WHL coach at the tender age of 86 that there ever was.
He's not that old.
Oh, he looks pretty old. He looks really
Well,
stressed
he's
out.
been going through a lot of hard stuff lately.
It's
he
like-
looks sick all the time.
I
I
was
feel
gonna
really
say,
bad for him.
It's like, when Obama first became president and how he aged. It's exactly like that.
He does look sick, though. He's
in
probably
3
got the
years,
mumps.
I want to
or-
give him a bottle of Pepto-Bismol or something when I see him up there, because
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, I don't have anything against him. I don't know what. It was his first job, too, as a head coach of the NHL, whatever. Like, I'm fine making excuses for him. I do think he should be gone at the end of this year.
Yeah.
Purely based on performance. People say, well, the Canucks overachieved for part of the year. I'm still like, well, was it the coaching? Maybe.
Part of the year. They were supposed to get 65 points. and
They've
that's
already exceeded that, haven't they? Or they're right on it, I think.
They have
That's not a reason to keep him.
No, but no, there were parts of the year where people were like, well, but they weren't expected to do much, and they did all this with the injuries, and I'm like, yeah, but there's whether it's like Jason Magna getting more minutes than Bo Horvat some nights, and
Yeah.
like Bo Horvat still, I don't know where he's sitting right now, but for a long time, like he's 5th, 6th, 7th in minutes for forwards on a regular basis. He's not out there late in the game, like he is
The auto
leading
coach-
the team in scoring. It's not.
Yeah.
You can't just
Paulie,
you know,
the auto coach. It malfunctioned
I
that
know.
night.
Anyway.
It was stuck on Megna.
And I'm not an NHL coach, and maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I feel like basic things like whoever's getting the most points and at least reasonable at defensive coverage on this team especially should be leading the team in minutes if they're only 21, because they can probably handle it physically. That's just me.
You'd think.
Just me. Anyway, I feel bad for the guy, though, at the same time, just on a personal level.
I felt bad for him when he had his hip surgery.
Yeah.
And they had to install those like cushions in the on the boards behind the bench so he could like rest. Because like he already is an older guy, an older looking guy, and then he's got these. Well, it's like when you go to an old person's house and there's rails by the door so that they
I have
can-
those all over my house.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's with this rail? What's with this safety rail in the shower? Well, you don't want to slip. Like that's what's happening with Willie now. He's gonna.
Magna's his safety rail.
You can leave that in.
Well, leave that. Aaron Ekblad has 3 concussions in 2 years.
They just showed it.
Did they?
Yeah.
It's sad. I mean,
Oh, and that one too.
anyway,
Like
yeah.
that's Eric Lindros numbers of concerning.
That's not Ekblad, though.
No, but that was they got 2 big concussions in one game, and like that is a little alarming because he is that franchise guy.
Ekblad's been very, important, and he's a great player, and you hate seeing that. Like,
Are they
it
bad?
goes back to, we talked about it, like Daniel Sedin getting hit by Nazem Kadri, and because we're a Vancouver Canucks heavy podcast,
Heavy.
that's the example.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like headshots that are avoidable in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
You gotta discourage people from doing stuff, and yeah.
I didn't see the hit. Was it like an accidental one, or did he tag
Can
him
we
in the
run
head?
it back?
I want to watch this
They
again.
just showed it seconds ago on Geeta's TV that's about half the size of her apartment.
It's a very, very big TV.
bigger than mine.
Let's watch this. Ooh.
Yeah, if you're hitting high like that,
That is a weird hit.
it's not the worst, but yeah, if you're
No.
hitting high and you know the guy has not seen you,
Well, if you look like it,
I know a lot of people want to put the onus on the player,
Mhm.
like they need to keep their head up, but I mean that's a very old school way of thinking. Like,
Yeah.
should have known better. It's like, honestly, at the speed the game is played, you're gonna miss it sometimes. You're not gonna shoulder check the right direction because he did look over his shoulder. He looked the other way.
Yeah.
Didn't have time to do another shoulder check.
No.
But
I think you do need to discourage this stuff as much as there are going to be freak accidents, but
that
discourage everything.
That hit,
especially the intent. Yeah.
What?
It reminded me of like that's just somebody with concussion or like with a history of concussions.
Right.
Because he, it wasn't too blatant. It looks like he just got bopped in the wrong way, kind of like when Sidney Crosby had that hit
Yeah.
against Victor Hedman after when he already had the concussion. I don't know. That's the vibe I got from that one. It's just it looks very unfortunate. So, Paul, what was the mood like?
Hey, sorry, is this the game you were talking about?
Yeah, that was the longest game ever. 11 periods of hockey, 217 minutes, 14 seconds. Zamboni logged 3 hours of driving time. They sold 75 kilograms of sausage, which, I mean, that's a regular game for the Blackhawks. And Joachim Jensen with the game winner. Paul, do you have any idea who that guy is?
Let's wrap it. I gotta get some meatloaf down at the rink.
Okay.
It's 6.
I know.
He's got to walk to the arena.
Okay, so we got to wrap it up, and then we got to do 5 minutes for paying.
Yeah, I love 5 minutes for paying.
Let's just go into that.
Well, no, I got to wrap up this podcast.
Oh, wrap it up.
Thanks. So we'll wrap it up this one early because we are in a bit of a quiet time in the National Hockey League. If you can help us out, go to iTunes, search Pucks on Net, give us a rating and review, 5 stars, something positive. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, PucksNetCA or PucksNetCA, and like us on Facebook. And if you want to pledge, donate money to our Patreon page, you can do so at patreon.com/pucksonnet. And that being said, we'll go into 5 minutes for paying right now and see you on Patreon.